Welcome to the show. Thanks for being with us again this week. I have a great show planned for you. I have with me as my guest today Terry Kiser, longtime actor, most well known for his role as Bernie in Weekend at Bernie's back in the 1980s, famous role where he played Bernie Lomax, and we'll be talking to him later. He's in town because he's going to be in the show Ticket to Nashville that'll be premiered at the Capitol Theater next week. So we'll get to that in a little bit, but first we'll start off with some of our usual features and some local commentary here. First, I was at the campaign announcement this week for Ralph Baxter for Congress, and I was really impressed with what Mr. Baxter had to say. Democratic candidate for Congress here in the 1st District in West Virginia for the House of Representatives, and the thing that I liked that he had to say the most is that he can bring jobs to this district because he's already proven that he can do it. He's done it in the past. Of course, he was responsible for bringing the jobs here with Orrick, an international law firm that came to Wheeling about 16 years ago, and not only did that bring initially, dozens of jobs, but now is responsible for 350 jobs directly here in the area, people working for Orrick, but also they then got Williams-Lee to follow, which now employs 500 people here in the local area. And now some of the other things that are happening in downtown, the health plan relocating here, things of that nature that I think are a direct result of Orrick initially deciding to come and locate their global headquarters here in Wheeling. And you look at someone like Mr. Baxter, who was born in Wetzel County, then spent a lot of his formative years in Brooke County here in the northern panhandle, and then his mom got a job that caused them to have to move out of state. But he decided, later in life, he remembered his West Virginia roots and decided he wanted to bring this law firm, this global law firm, back here to West Virginia and do good for the area where he was born, where his family had lived for years and years, his grandfather had been raised, and bring it back here. And he's been here for the last 16 years and is now looking for ways to serve the community, ways to serve his country. And I think that's the type of people we need in politics. He's not been a politician in the past, and that's one of the things that I want to see is someone that can get things done, someone that's run a business, understands what it takes to do things, and he's now set his sights on saying, okay, I'm going to go to Washington, not with the idea of being a career politician. In fact, he's probably a little too old to be a career politician at this point, but to be someone who can get things done for my home, for the district in which I live, for a district that I care about. So I was really impressed with his announcement. There was a great turnout for the announcement. In addition to his wife and daughter being there, there were probably 150 to 200 other people, including some of the local politicians, former Mayor Nick Sparshane, County Commissioner Orphe Klempa, Delegate Sean Fluharty, our Circuit Clerk Brenda Miller, all these people there, to come out and support Ralph Baxter. So I think it'll shape up to be a great race. Of course, the primary is not until May of next year and the general election in November of 18. But he'll be taking on David McKinley, assuming that Mr. Baxter gets through the primary, who's been an incumbent politician there in Washington from the local area, has been elected several times now to that post. So that'll be an interesting race to watch that we'll keep our eyes on as the months progress and the days to come. Along the same line, sticking with politics a little bit, a new book out by Hillary Clinton called What Happened? And I bring that up for this reason, that she recounts the election between her and Donald Trump and talks about what went wrong, things of that nature. And one of the things she really points out that she said she regrets more than anything that she did on the campaign trail or during the course of the campaign was her comments about we're going to put a lot of coal miners out of work. And she said it was totally taken out of context, but she regrets saying it because of the fact that it could be taken out of context. And she said if you read her entire comments about that, I was watching the town hall that night when she made those comments, and as soon as she said it, I knew, boy, this is going to really get played the wrong way. This is going to be in every ad. This is going to be in every piece that's talked about, every debate. But she went on to talk about, I don't want those people to hurt. I don't want those people to suffer. They've worked hard for years and years to provide energy and power for our country, and we've got to make sure we take care of those people because we don't want those people to get left out in the cold without jobs. So we've got to look for ways to find jobs for these folks. She was really speaking from the heart, trying to find ways to help those people, but she said that she regrets it because it got turned completely the wrong way against her, and she feels like it affected her significantly in Appalachia and West Virginia, and I think she's right about that. But I'm eager to read a copy of that book because I always think it's interesting to hear from someone's firsthand perspective what they think happened with respect to a political race. Of course, I'm obviously trying to generate some money through the sale of that book as well, but I'm eager to read that. It'll be interesting to see whether Hillary Clinton's done in politics or not. I still see her maybe taking one more crack at it, but it's just hard to tell whether or not the voters are going to be receptive to another run by Hillary Clinton. Of course, she ran against Barack Obama and lost in the primary in 2008, and then of course losing in the general here in 16. So on the local front, some folks are announcing that they're going to run again. Lisa Zukoff is going to run for the House of Delegates in Marshall County. Of course, she had an unsuccessful bid for the Senate seat in the 4th District in West Virginia. That was instead won by Dr. Maroney, who was our Senate representative in the 4th. And now she's going to run for the House of Delegates seat. Mike Farrow giving up his delegate seat, or is going to not run for re-election there, so he can run for county commission in Marshall County. And then also in Hancock County, Randy Swartzmiller, former delegate there, is going to run for election this time again in the House of Delegates. And he served in the House of Delegates, was a good representative, and I think that'll be an interesting race to watch as well, to see what happens there in Hancock County. So people starting to think about the next election. It seems like people are always either running or thinking about the next one, and it's time to start thinking about the next one, because the filing period ends in January, so we're only a few months away from when people have to file to run for the May primary. So we'll continue to talk about that a little bit as we move into the fall and winter months, and see who else is throwing their hat into the races with respect to not only the delegate races, but also the Senate races and any other races that there may be some competition for the incumbents. We need to take a break. When I come back, I'll have with me Terry Kiser. Stay with us here on the Jamie Bordas Show.
So, how was your first day?
Long. So, Josh asked me about you.
Daddy's home. Go get him.
For your home, for your life, for more than 50 years. The Hardwood Specialists. DeNoon Lumber.
Disasters happen. Pick the team that takes care of them all. Powered by offices in Wheeling, Morgantown, and Pittsburgh, Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration is ready to handle any size emergency at a moment's notice. We have the right people, knowledge, and equipment to respond 24 hours a day.
I'm Dana Hogerson. When disaster strikes your home or business, tell your insurance provider you prefer the restoration company the Mountaineers call, Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
Welcome back to the show. This is my favorite time each week when I have a guest with me, and I'm really excited about this week's guest. If you grew up in the 80s like I did, you can remember the film Weekend at Bernie's, and I have with me the actor who actually played Bernie, Terry Kiser. Terry, thanks for being with us here today.
Where did this chair come from?
Some local furniture store.
Do you mind if we trade chairs? Because
why not?
Yeah, this seems just a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah, go right ahead.
If you don't mind.
No, go ahead.
I am the guest on the show.
No, take the chair.
I thought that.
You got it.
Oh, yeah.
That better?
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Thanks, Jamie. Thanks so much.
So you get the good chair, and I'll get the this one isn't as comfortable.
See, think about that when you get your guests on the show next time.
No doubt.
Oh,
if you're the guest, you get to lean back a little bit.
I like this.
You were actually telling me, speaking of comfort, that filming Weekend at Bernie's, and for most people have probably seen it, but for those that haven't, you actually had to play a guy for most of the movie that was dead. And, that's got to be a challenge in and of itself. But you were talking about how some of the scenes, people don't realize you have to do it over and over and over again. The one where you have to, crack yourself off of something, you actually got an injury as a result of that.
I did. It was funny. I think the funniest thing was that if the audience doesn't know what dailies are, that means that you're watching film that was shot the night before. And the first time I saw dailies when he was dead, he was just dead. It wasn't funny dead. And I went back to the hotel and I said, this whole movie is based on, me being funny dead, and I'm dead. And so I get in front of the mirror and I'm looking at myself. What's funny? How can I be dead funny? And this is where that Bernie smirk came from, the famous. And I'll show the audience this, so you go, That's the Bernie smirk. And I tried doing that in front of the mirror at 2 o'clock in the morning, and things like that. And then I had to hold it for like a minute and a half because you're supposed to be still. The next day we saw the dailies, I got the crew laughing. And when you can get a crew that have been around so long laughing, we knew that, okay, he's funny dead, and the movie is a success. and it went on to be a national, international movie.
Did anybody? I mean, did you think that heading into you get the script, you're looking at something and you think
no.
Did anybody think it was going to be the hit that it was?
No. No, we didn't. But when we started finding this smirk thing, and when we started improvising, tying shoes together and things like this, because I thought it was just a one horse movie, one joke, and all of a sudden we saw that it was really funny. There's a difference, Jamie, between it's physical comedy. It's not shtick comedy, and physical comedy. Peter Sellers is a perfect example. It comes out of a situation, and so it's real. So you can watch it 10 times, and it's funnier watching a guy step on a banana the 10th time than it is the first, because you anticipate. And this audience started anticipating Bernie's craziness that he would get into. And that's what made it a success, and that's why it's so lasting. It's become iconic. Someplace, it's being played right now.
Let's talk about shooting a movie.
Yeah.
Movies an hour
Who
and a half.
are you?
I'm sorry?
Who are you?
Who am I?
Yeah.
Well, I'm hosting this show today.
Yeah.
I'm a lawyer by trade.
Gotcha.
I own an advertising agency.
Gotcha.
Used to coach football. I'm a dad. I coach a lot of youth sports.
How
so
many
a little bit
kids?
of everything.
What do you got?
I got my 6th on the way.
Okay, I'll see you. Okay, go ahead.
You're gonna have me laughing here. But let's talk about this. Really, I mean, filming a movie, it's an hour and a half to 2 hours long, and but people may think, oh, okay, they spend a couple weeks filming this movie. People don't realize how long it takes to do each scene, to put the whole movie together.
It takes a long time. It took us like 3 months. The first movie became such a big hit, and I remember receiving a phone call one Sunday from this producer. And he says, Terry, get over to my house right now. Right now. Okay. Go to his house. Go to his house. The writer was there too. So there were the three of us, Robert Klein, this Victor Dre, and myself. And Victor said, sit down. I sat down. He said, we got the money for the second movie. And I went, well, that's cute. That's nice. That's very nice. And he said, what should we do? I mean, what should I said, well, let's go warm. I want to take my shoes off and be something in the water warm. Well, we ended up shooting in St. Croix in the Virgin Islands for 3 months. How long does it take? That's how long it takes.
Yeah.
And we had fun. I mean, it was
a lot better to go somewhere like St. Croix in the Virgin Islands.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about, some of the other shows that you appeared in. People think of you as Bernie, but you were in Three's Company, Love Boat, Night Court, Golden Girls, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Hill Street Blues, Will and Grace, just to name some of them.
Wow, I didn't know that.
A lot of different shows. But
wow, that is a lot of shows.
What's your favorite? What was your favorite?
Jamie, I feel very fortunate that I'm doing something I love. I'm a graduate engineer, industrial engineering from Kansas University, civil and business engineering. And I loved acting, and I said, I at least got to try it. I was good, like in a small area, but how about the big pond? Could I? And so I left everything and I went to New York to try this acting thing, and it became successful. So I am very grateful for being able to do something I love to do, a craft. And I tip my hat to anybody's craft, a carpenter, anything. Yes. If you're good, that's a craft. And mine is a little more out there, because you're an actor. But the craft itself, to answer your question, which part, I'm happy to work. I'm very happy to work. Did a wonderful piece with the first movie that Paul Newman directed.
Oh, wow.
Called Rachel with Joanne Woodward, and I played an evangelist minister that talked in tongues. Try that one out for size.
That's a little different than playing a dead guy. That's almost the polar opposite.
Hill Street Blues, a wonderful 4-part series of a stand-up comic that had narcolepsy. He kept falling asleep during his comedy act, and his name was Vic Hitler. And I remember, one of the lines, the policeman come up and say, "You're a stand-up comic?" I said, "Yes, I am." And he said, "Did you ever think of changing your name? And I looked at him and said, why? That was kind of the whole essence of the character. Vic Hitler's stand-up comic, why don't you change your name? The naivete of the guy.
Yeah.
And I think that's why the audience liked him so much, because they saw the vulnerability of the character.
We need to take a break. When
Yeah.
we come back, we'll talk about why. Not taking a break yet, okay.
No. We're going to take a break. And we're going to, why what?
We're going to talk about why you're in town.
Why I'm in town. Let's take a break. We'll be right back, all right?
Fighting for homeowners.
Fighting for workers.
Fighting for children.
Fighting for mineral owners.
Fighting for patients.
Fighting for policyholders.
Bordas and Bordas, fighting for justice.
We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you. We've got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. We do it all, restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone. We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you.
Welcome back to the show. I'm still with Terry Kiser here, who is apparently fallen asleep or is still playing Bernie. I'm not sure which, but I want your hat. Since you took my chair, I should wear your hat.
Isn't that cool? Let's see it on you. Put it on. Let's see it.
It's probably a little too big for you. See, it's a little too big for me.
No.
But you got more hair than I do. So.
Yeah. Well,
But
it looks good. Looks good.
Do you want it back or should I wear it?
Keep it.
All right. So, let's talk a little bit about why you're in town. This Ticket to Nashville, people may or may not have heard of this, but it's going to premiere next week at the Capitol Theater in Wheeling. What is Ticket to Nashville?
Ticket to Nashville. It's a musical that is a country western musical. And a country western musical has never been done before. The writing, the script is so wonderful because it has such a flow that you really like these characters, and all of a sudden you're hearing this beautiful country music, these iconic songs that you've heard before through this wonderful journey that our writer gives us. Ty, who's sitting right over there. Yes, Ty, all right, baby. Yes, sir. And so Ticket to Nashville at the Capitol Theater, what is it, the
22nd, 23rd, 24th,
23rd and 24th. It was so funny. They gave me a call and they said, would you do this? And I said, no. You got to sing? Yeah, no. And they said, come on. And so I went to this music person I know, and I said, you got to hit me straight, because I have a big song that I have to sing. And they hit me. And it's 2,400 people at the Capitol Theater in Wheeling. And so I started off, wait, stop. Can we drop it down? Okay, we'll drop it down. Went through this hour and a half, and it gave me confidence, and I called him back because I liked the script so much. I've done 2 movies with this gentleman before, and his structure is just stunning. At the end of each movie, you say, that was a good ride. Ticket to Nashville is going to be a good ride for people. It's family orientated. I have 3 young co-stars in this thing that are singers, not like you and I in the shower time. I mean country singers that are good. Young kids, 25 years old, but I mean they're going to be big stars. And to see them and to see their growth and to see this all come together. I started on stage in Broadway in New York, and then I got wrapped up in movies and film and TV. So this is kind of my return engagement to where I started.
Have you sung before in any type of performance?
Well, not, I think I did once, and I think after the show closed, I ended up in New Delhi, India, because I said, get out of town, get how far can you get? So it's new to me, but everybody's so receptive to your own skills and things like this, and your fellow actors. So everybody's working together. But I'm telling you, the audience out there to see Ticket to Nashville. It's exciting. It's an exciting piece of theater. And just like you, Jamie, with all your kids and stuff like this, and you're expecting, when is the next one coming?
Oh, any day.
Oh my golly. Okay, to turn your kids onto theater, to get them to see a live, mostly with our digital things and everything else, and you can't get your, to expose them to live theater, to what it is creatively, to open up their minds, I think is one of the best things a parent can give a child.
We're very blessed here in Wheeling to have the Capitol Theater. I mean, they're going to, later on this year, they'll have the Broadway at the Capitol series, which always has some great shows included as part of it. And there's always one that's designed for the kids. This year they're doing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer musical. And there's always, last year they had Annie. I mean, there are things like that. I took my kids to see Mamma Mia last year at the Capitol, and they really enjoyed that one.
Yes. And what do you feel? I mean, as a parent, you see that of giving that to them, how special that is.
It really is, and my kids are so sports oriented and so into sports that I want them to be exposed to that other side, to the cultural side there, and I hope maybe that some of them get into music or singing or something like that in addition to their sports. I don't want them to give that up if they enjoy that, but I want them to be exposed to different things so they can see what they enjoy, because and that's why I think we're really blessed in a very small town like this to have a theater and to have some of these shows here, and have someone like you coming in for it's fantastic.
Then everybody, come on, get to the Capitol Theater. Bring your family and bring yourself to listen to something that's exciting, something that's new, something that just might go someplace beside here. You know,
after this show.
Well, we don't know where. We don't know what's going to go.
That's to say, after the show, after you do it here in Wheeling, you don't know where it's going to head next. But what's up next for you? You have any plans in the near future?
Yes, I do. I'm having a baby in a couple of weeks. No, I'm not. I'm kidding you. Okay. Yes, I have a little movie that's going to go on the circuit of festivals and things like that. If I can remember the name of the thing, The Burial of John McBride.
Okay.
A wonderful story about a man, his younger brother had just passed away, died, and his decision of whether to stick around or move on with his brother. That decision, a wonderful piece written by these wonderful young kids from Vanderbilt University. And I might be involved in a pretty big movie that we can't quite talk about right now.
We'll keep it.
But it's an exciting venture and avenue that people are exploring right now.
Well, hey, I really appreciate you being here today. Thanks for being in Wheeling for this show. I know people will enjoy it, and we'll look forward to whatever the next adventure might be for you. And I'll be sure to give you your hat back here. But I appreciate you being here today.
You can have this.
I'm gonna have a shoe too.
You can have a shoe. I will take my hat back. It's nice being around. Have many more babies in your life.
All right, thanks a lot.
I'll see you, kid. You take care.
We need to take a break. When we come back, I'll be talking a little bit of sports. Stay with us here on the Jamie Bordas Show.
Don't forget to do your homework.
All right, Mom. Trick or treat.
Here you go. Happy Halloween.
For your home, for your life, for more than 50 years, DeNoon Lumber.
Tractor trailers are some of the most dangerous vehicles on the road. There are federal rules for load sizes, driver's hours, and maintenance for a reason. When big rigs don't follow these rules, entire families can be torn apart. We have the talent and the resources to take on these large companies. Hopefully, through our work, families are being helped and trucking companies are getting the message about safety. Bordas and Bordas, fighting for justice.
Welcome back to the show. Well, that was fun. I've got my chair back here, and that was about as fun as I've ever had with a guest. I mean, Terry Kiser, man, what an entertainer. You can tell he is. And Ticket to Nashville, you can go still get tickets, tickettonashvilleshow.com. That's tickettonashvilleshow.com for tickets to the show next week. And I kind of want to go now that I had him here on the show and heard what he had to say, and looking forward to kind of watching Weekend at Bernie's again sometime in the near future now that he's been on the show. But let's talk a little bit of sports. First of all, the Steelers got off to the season with the win against the Browns, but a little bit closer than maybe people thought it would be. Deshaun Kiser, the new quarterback for the Browns, a little better than people thought he would be coming out. I wanted the Steelers to draft him. I followed him, of course, the whole time he was at Notre Dame, and I was hoping that the Steelers could grab him maybe in the second round, groom him for a couple years to be Big Ben's replacement. It didn't happen. The Browns just went and grabbed him too early. I don't know if the Steelers had their sights on him anyway, but he looks like he could be the real deal in the NFL. I mean, he's tall, he's got a strong arm, he's got all the tools, he's a really smart kid, so a good start for him. But the Steelers, blocked a punt early, and the defense had a great day, 7 sacks. Of course, our firm will be donating $500 to the Ronald McDonald House in Pittsburgh for every sack the Steelers have this year. So $3,500 right out of the gate makes me pretty happy to know we're going to be giving that type of money, because that means the Steelers probably had a pretty good day when you're giving that kind of money. And T.J. Watt, what a strong performance to start off, 7 tackles. Got a couple sacks, got an interception. So he looks like the first-round pick will pay off there. Le'Veon Bell showed some rust, and I think people are giving him a little bit of an unfair shake, though. I mean, people keep talking about his holdout. He didn't hold out. He wasn't under contract. His contract had expired, and the Steelers tagged him. So he was under no obligation to be in camp, to do anything, because he wasn't under contract yet. So remember that. But, maybe the big surprise in the NFL last week was the New England Patriots with the opening week loss. Anytime you can get a game up on the Patriots, important to try to get home field advantage in the playoffs. So we'll keep an eye on what the Patriots do throughout the season. The Steelers now have the Vikings this week at Heinz Field for the home opener. I like the Steelers in this one. I think it'll be close like most NFL games are. I'll take the Steelers by 4 this week. But I think, though, the offense will click a little bit more. Le'Veon Bell have a little better day, and the Steelers will win this game, albeit I think it'll be late that they'll get it done. Mountaineers have a scrimmage this week against Delaware State. Basically, the team is just terrible. Ohio State, same thing. They get Army, who's had to come from behind to beat Buffalo last week, and not the Bills. We're talking about the college. And Notre Dame gets Boston College, coming off a 1-point loss against Georgia. But this week's big games I keep an eye on, setting out your day for you. At noon, Oklahoma State at Pitt on ESPN. I think that could be a tighter game than people think, but I think Oklahoma State will pull out. 3:30, a game that always excites me, Tennessee at Florida right here on CBS. And then Clemson at Louisville on ABC at 8 o'clock, number 3 and number 14. Excited to watch Lamar Jackson, last year's Heisman winner, to see what he does. But my upset special for this week is Mississippi State over LSU, the 7 o'clock game. LSU, number 12 in the country. I think they go to Mississippi State and get beat here early in the year for that early season loss. That's all the time we have this week. I appreciate you joining us. We'll see you again next week on The Jamie Bordas Show.